laps left to go in the Firecracker 400, and the battle goes on. It's a three-car fight now with David Pearson apparently having dropped back too far. Cale Yarborough the leader, but there comes Hutcherson bursting through, and it looks like Dick has decided to take the lead.
It sure is the first time today, Jim, and he has bursted out front. I didn't think he'd do it till right at the end, but I guess it's getting pretty close, and he's making an awful early move.
It sure creates a problem for him with those two cars, Cale Yarborough 21 and Darrell Derringer number 26, right on his tail. And now there are 3 laps to go.
Well, it's going to really be a finish, Jim. As you notice, nobody else is trying to do any passing right now. They're really getting set up for that last lap, and I don't think they're going to pass until that last lap.
Kind of like a chess game at 180 miles an hour.
Well, I might add that the first place pays $16,000 for first, and it drops all the way to $5,000 for second. So, believe me, $10,000 for just a little suction or a draft for the last 100 feet is a big difference. That's about a year's pay to the average person.
The way things are going, it may well average out about $1,000 an inch for the winner.
It sure could, and believe me, don't think that Cale or Darrell really aren't thinking.
Dick Hutcherson still in the lead, however. He's got to be the man to beat right now. Cale Yarborough second, Darrell Derringer third. And now there are 2 laps to go.
It's a funny thing here, Jim. You'll notice maybe one car pulled quite a ways ahead here than the other one, say coming off the turn going down the back, like right here. That's because he may be trying to slow down to let the other cars pass him, but they won't do it, and they absolutely back off too.
You know that David Pearson's doing a good job of catching up. We saw him and then panned over to the 3 leaders. I don't think he can catch him, but he's made up a couple of those 4 seconds.
Yes, he has. He's only about a second and a half behind now. Jimmy's made up an awful lot of time. But as I say, these lead cars have slowed down quite a bit because I think Hutcherson is wanting Cale to pass him, and Cale won't do it.
And Darrell won't pass Cale, so let's see what happens. They're still going about 175 miles an hour.
They've slowed down about 5 miles an hour off the pace, but that's because they're all wanting each other to pass each other.
And that was the white flag indicating 1 lap to go. This 160-lap race has now become a 1-lap race because the issue is still in doubt.
There's the first turn, Jim. We're going through the first and second turn, and this going into the third turn is probably where one of them will make their move, but I look for the winner to do it coming off the 4th turn, but we'll just see.
Up the banking onto the backstretch, 3,400 feet long. Cale moving up now on the inside.
There goes Cale making an awful early move.
There's Darrell on the outside.
Now there's the suction that I was talking about.
So Dick Hutcherson has been dropped back into 3rd place. They're in the 3rd turn, 1 more turn to go, and then they'll hit for the finish line on the high banking.
Dick is still set up real well to get this checkered flag. Now there's where I would sit if I was going to try to win it. Right where Hutcherson is. See that puff of smoke? It looked like he had to back off the throttler to keep from hitting Cale.
Made his move, but he couldn't do it. Cale Yarborough is the winner of the race in car number 21. Car number 29, Dick Hutcherson, is second. And car number 26, Darrell Derringer, finishes 3rd in the most exciting stock car race I have ever seen in my life.
Well, it was sure quite a finish.
You'll meet a very happy Cale Yarborough in a minute.
Well, Cale, it's a big one. And 2nd Super Speedway win of the year. Congratulations. But what about that final lap?
Well, Chris, it was a pretty rough lap. I was leading the race with about 10 laps to go. We even stayed in the lead down to about 7. But this place, if you lead the last lap and there's somebody running close, you'll never win it. So I dropped back to 2nd place, and I knew if I could stay in 2nd on the last lap, I'd win the race, and it paid off.
Well, we had a long break, but it was well worth waiting for, wasn't it?
Sure was, Chris. And I'd like to thank the Wood Brothers for their tremendous job in preparing this car, and Goodyear Rubber Company, and Pure Oil, and everybody concerned.
It certainly wasn't a soggy firecracker for you, Cale Yarborough, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was a big explosion.
There you have the winner of the Firecracker 400, Cale Yarborough of Timmonsville, South Carolina. And now, back to you, Jim McKay.
Okay, Chris, thanks for a fine job, by the way, and also to Freddie Lorenzen for his expert commentary. Here, again, is the way they finished. Cale Yarborough the winner, Dick Hutcherson second, Darrell Derringer third, David Pearson fourth, all of them in 1967 Fords, and Bobby Isaac fifth in his 67 Dodge. That's the story on the 1967 Firecracker 400. The executive producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Roone Arledge. Firecracker 400 produced by Chet Forty and directed by Andy Sedaris. The Surfing produced by Jim Spence and directed by John Orloff. Our associate directors were Ronald Hawkins and Lou Frederick. Technical Director in Daytona, Werner Gunther. Now, next week on Wide World of Sports, the Grand Prix of France, the Queen's Cup polo match, a preview of the upcoming America's Cup yacht races, and a special repeat of the National Tourist Trophy Motorcycle Championship. And by the way, don't forget the Coaches All-America football game tonight on ABC in color. But right now, then, this is Jim McKay, speaking also for Fred Lorenzen and Chris Economaki, saying so long. Today's program was pre-recorded.